This is for anybody that's considering the shots, the GLP-1s, whatever you want to call them, who's considering it or is on it and is having some struggles. I'm here to tell you the beginning stages and what my process was. I'm Casey, and I'm excited to share my journey with all of you. My journey to lose 100 pounds. If you missed my first video where I went over just an introduction and the basics to my story, you can click here. I'm also in the process of designing my studio. I'm here to also take you on a journey of a new YouTuber at 49. I'm ready to rock this out. So, with that being said, I'm on Mounjaro. I have been on it for a little over 6 months now, and it has been quite an amazing journey. I am loving it. I have read a lot of things on Reddit from people, and I relate to a lot of them because I have had a lot of the same side effects. Not all of them, but they are, I have found ways to work around them, and it has been a huge help. The first thing that I'm going to talk about is the feeling sick, like feeling nauseous, feverish, whatever. The first time I took my shot, which was mid-January, my very first shot, which was the lowest dose, I put it in my stomach. That is what my clinic had recommended. Some will tell you to do your leg or your arm. You have three options. Those are what I was given, and I just started off with my stomach, and I did that all up until this last few times. But so I do it in the stomach. I do mine on Fridays, my shot, just once a week. And the first week, I was not even hungry. I was like, wow, do you believe in magic? I was like, what the junk? I'm not even hungry. Well, that did change, but in the beginning, it was very much prevalent, like how well this works, And I would almost have to force myself to eat because I know eating is important and I'm going to need energy. I work all day. I have children. I'm 49 years old. I know I need to eat. So I would force myself to eat. I would make better choices though. I didn't do things like, I didn't do a lot of fried stuff. I didn't do a lot of fast food anymore. If I did do fast food, like a Culver's, they actually have like chicken and broccoli. I chose that, steamed broccoli. So I just kind of made some smarter choices like that. So when I did eat, I was at least getting some of the protein. They say that's super important. That's what they told me. And so I did push the protein, try to do away with some of the carbs, and that actually worked really good. If I make eggs, I just don't have like the toast that I used to have with it. The sickness though, this is like with probably after week 1, I had ice cream and I had something that was not like the best, and I probably ate more than I should have. I wasn't really listening to my body at this point. And this was actually more almost a week and a half. And I'm sitting there and I'm feeling feverish. I was feeling like I needed to throw up, but also the other end too. And I'm just like, I don't know what to do. I just felt miserable and nothing was happening. I couldn't do either. And I'm just sitting there miserable. I was miserable. I realized though, I was not drinking much water. And I was probably constipated, and everything was just saying, what are you doing to me? You're eating way too healthy. You're not eating enough. You're not pushing fluids, and you need to do those things. Early on, I realized the importance of water. Oh my gosh. At a minimum, I will have probably 20 ounces of water by 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I try to get in 40 to 60 ounces of water a day, and that seems to be a really big help. Just straight up water, nothing else, just straight up water. I quit coffee. I don't drink pop anyway, so I didn't do a lot of carbonated stuff. But I realized that the sickness was coming from lack of water for me, lack of nutrients, and just all of a sudden eating something really crappy, and my body was rejecting it. So that was what I have realized early on. That has happened to me a couple more times. Actually, just the other day when I upped my dose to the top dose, and this was just Friday, my husband and I went to a movie, and this was the day after I had had my new dose. We went to the movies, and normally I wouldn't order popcorn, but I did. I fell into my old habit, and I said, extra butter too. And he got a slushy, and I think we got some, yeah, Swedish fish. And so I'm sitting there eating my Swedish fish, had a whole, like a half thing of popcorn. And by that night, I was not as bad as I was in the beginning, but I was like, whoa, I felt a little warm again. I knew I needed to take some Tums. Um, so yeah, so it really tells you what your body, if you listen to your body, it's a huge, huge help. When you're not feeling good, review what you had during the day. Again, this may not be for everybody, but this is what worked for me. I really looked back at what my day was and what did I do? What did I do differently today than the next day, you know? Tums seemed to help pretty darn good. Uh, Usually 2 or 3 of them, depending on what I had. But that was number one. The second thing is I actually had to talk to my doctor about it because I've never been one to really deal with constipation all that much, and it's not really a fun topic to discuss. But I'm like, yo, I'm somebody that usually goes like a few times a week. I'm not an everydayer, which I have now learned that many people are, especially my family. The things you now talk about. And I'm just like, I just never like, it's not something I've talked about, I guess. But anyways, so I talked to my doctor about it too, and she says, you really need to make sure that you're going on the regular because this does affect your intestines and stuff. So I'm like, okay, what can we do? And so she recommended 2 things. And one was like a liquid form, and the other one was 2 little like softener type pills a day. And so I took that route. I'm like, I'm going to start with the pills because then if I don't need 2, I can just do 1. Well, ever since about a month and a half in, I've been taking 2 a day, and that has helped. But I am still only going once, maybe twice a week. But here's the kicker. I quit coffee, and I have realized, and I don't know if you have too, but a cup of coffee in the morning has been a huge help to me. I'm like, okay, you know, I like coffee with sugar and cream. When I wanted to be healthy, I quit that. Well, I still just need to have a cup of coffee and I just down it and it seems to help. So, hey, a cup of coffee once or twice a week seems to help things a little bit. Pushing my fluids is huge. I had had some really bad bouts where I was concerned if I was like needing to go to the doctor. It was worse than childbirth. And I'm like, this cannot keep happening. But again, as long as I keep pushing my fluids, number one, eating somewhat healthy, and even a little bit of exercise. Honestly, I've only exercised 3 times. Went to the lake once with my daughter. I went rafting. That's not really exercise, except for trying to keep my body on a raft is technically exercise at this point in my life. The second is I played pickleball a couple times and I beat my oldest child. My youngest one kicked my butt, but that's okay. That's okay. So, and then, but I've seen like just, walking up and down your stairs a couple extra times. If you have a lot of weight to lose, that's pretty much all you need. You don't need to do tons, but just kind of being a little bit more active. And as I lose more weight, I'm going to incorporate that a little bit more, like maybe getting on the floor and doing some stretches. Again, I have 100 pounds, probably 120 maybe to lose, but my goal is 100. So the first 50, it's like, I also have a bad lower back, so I don't want to throw it out. I mean, I've had some really bad back issues. So I thought, let's get a little of this weight off of me first and then start doing things like getting on the floor. And I'm now to that point where I'm feeling like I can move around a lot more and I don't get so wore out. So I'm going to start getting on the floor, doing some stretches. I'm not really a sit-up kind of girl. I actually hate exercise. on any level. Like working up a sweat, it's never like I'm like, oh, that felt so good. No, no, I don't want to sweat. I don't want to do that. However, just being a little bit more active is important. And I notice I'm cleaning the house. When I'm cleaning the house, I'm doing a little bit more than I normally would. Like before, I would just make it look nice. And now I'm like getting down and like really like doing some more thorough cleaning. I'm not wearing out as much. I seem to have a little bit more energy. I want to share this though. Something that somebody told me, and I found this so, sometimes somebody will say something and it's just the thing that you needed to hear. And this is it. All my life, I was pretty much a perfectionist. If I didn't do it perfect or just the right way, then screw it. Whatever, I'm done. Or whatever, I just quit it. So I heard somebody say once, and I can't recall who it was, but they said, when you're losing weight, or anything for that matter, if you have popped one tire, just move along. Don't get out and pop the other three. And that light bulb went off. It's like when I didn't have a perfect day, I would get out and slash all my other tires. I'm not doing that this time. I'm just with one, bad tire, and I just keep going. And that is what has helped huge for me. But the big kicker is just listen to your body. Seriously, just listen to your body. And don't beat yourself up if you make a bad choice. Talk with your doctors. If you're sick, find out what you can do and what can help you. Again, after the first couple weeks, and I was ready to throw in the towel because I'm like, I can't keep going like that. It did take a shift. And about every time I go up a dose, so like you start off with the one dose and you go to the next one and then the next one, every other one seems to work really good for me, and then the middle ones don't. It's really weird. So I was on my last set for 2 months. Now I'm on the highest dose, and that's when I got sick the other day. And for 2 months I wasn't feeling sick. So I don't know. For me, for my body, whatever is happening, it seems like every other one that I'm going on, I'll have like similar side effects. But I almost prefer the one where this side effect where I do feel a little ick, because it deters me from eating the crap. And that's the whole point, and you also have to make smarter choices and learn as you're doing this process, because this is going to be a lifelong journey, and not everybody is able to be on this thing for the rest of their lives. So, and I don't know if I'm going to be approved after the new year. I know I was pre-diabetic. I'm not anymore, so it might not be approved. So I'm really looking at this as though I only have a year, and I don't know if that's something I'm going to be able to continue. So I want to get where I need to get. I'm hoping to get to my goal and realize that that may not always be an option for me. I hope that some of this information may have helped somebody else, because like I said, I see a lot of discussions out there. A lot of people have a lot of issues, and it doesn't, and for some, it may not be for them. I know the intestinal issues are a big deal, and you got to be careful. I know, like with alcohol too, they don't recommend drinking on it. I'm not a big drinker, but I would drink about maybe a Friday night every other Friday, a couple times a month, when I'm going out, whooping it up, whatever. But I tapered back, and I only do it about once a month, because I found out that it doesn't taste the best right now, and I don't feel the best after. So for me, it's just not really worth it, and I don't need it. So why do it? It'll be there next year when I'm the weight I want to be. Again, I'm Casey. This is Shoes Off with Casey. I am in the process of also taking you guys through my journey of being a new YouTuber at age 49. And I'm setting up my whole studio, so I'm getting closer. So there will be a video on that one too. So thank you for joining me. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll continue to bring you along on my journey.